Good afternoon. It's June 13th, 2021 garden tour. Our new John Deere 3046R is getting a lot of use. It's been great so far. We've got the forks and the bucket here. It's a heavy duty bucket. We already have been using it to get lumber down in the woods or downed trees and stumps and kind of rotten stuff to fill the bottom of the birdies beds. Jay started leveling and prepping the gravel for where the first long and narrow double 8-in-1 birdies bed is going. This is going to be near impossible to get perfect. I keep reminding him. That's a 16-foot 2x. So there's going to be another one we need to assemble still. It's going here. And then there'll be cattle panel arches. There'll be 4 of those. Those are 50-inch wide each, so it'll almost fill the whole bed if I did my math correctly. And we'll have cucumbers and beans, which I'll show you the starts for those, which are in the greenhouse. Jay's finishing up right now the last regular 8-in-1 bed that I had 3/4 of the way assembled. And this one is actually installed. It's all leveled out and everything. So we'll need to level this space out here. And then we've got some of the filler there, and we actually pretty much ran out of the cheap topsoil, like cheap grade, basically just dirt. So we're getting another delivery of that tomorrow. We got gravel, and we've got another 6 cubic yards of good, pretty awesome compost we got from a local farm. So that's where we are with the raised beds for installing and assembly. Probably be a little bit because we ended up actually having an issue with Jay's chainsaw, so we can't buck up the some of the wood we've got. So we might go down in the woods and find some old stumps, which will help and fill these 2 8-in-1s. And some of the long stuff might fit in here, but because we have the supports in there, it makes it a little harder to do that. So it's easier if we do bucket up some before we kind of do the lasagna. There's a name for it, I can never remember. I'm sure someone will note it, but you do dirt, lumber, and then for the top 15 inches, that's when we actually put the good compost in. Helps save money. And being that we have 17 acres of woods, as you can see, it's all around us, we have plenty to go in and get. We don't have to take anything down to do that. I'll add in here my pre-video before I pruned these this afternoon. These are all cayenne. So I'm going to go through and trim off all of these items here, all these leaves and suckers up until the main Y, and then even the stuff at the Y, I'll cut that so it doesn't grow, so that the plant can focus on the upwards growth. So again, looking at this, all of this stuff will get trimmed, including this part here, but then everything up above that Y is going to be kept. A few of these got away from me, and I'll show you here. This is what I don't want to happen, which is why I'll even trim at the Y. And here's one that I really missed, that we're gonna have a nice early cayenne. One of the flowers I probably missed when it was still in the basement or greenhouse. And so again, this is the 8-in-1 birdies bed, raised bed, and we got from epicgardening.com. Kevin over there has been great. I have 15 cayennes in this bed, and I have totally crammed in our bell peppers here. And this one, again, these front 4 beds are all the tall 8-in-1s. So there's 32 bell peppers in this bed. Bell peppers are known for liking to hold hands, which means their edges of the leaves like to touch. And so this is a little bit closer than probably what they should be. Jay did measure what I what I eyeballed, and it's averages 10 inches almost exactly in between each row, and something like 8 or 9 inches between each one that way. So we do have some peppers already on here, which is great. And that's the biggest one there. So our plan is to freeze a lot of these bell peppers. So trying to research the best way to do that, but goal is to not have to buy any bell peppers. It's one of the vegetables we actually eat quite a bit. That's how we designed this garden. What can we grow here in Mass in Zone 5B, realistically? And what can we take out of our grocery bill? And so these bell peppers will go into, hopefully, the freezer, and that will work out well. We have 2 of the 9-in-1 beds that we got from Gardener Supply, which I think Epic actually supplies them. But these ones are a little bit smaller all around, but they are tall. And these ones are potatoes. So these are the red Norwood, or dark red Norwood, something like that, potatoes from the Maine potato lady. And then these ones are red Chieftain that we started actually earlier because we hadn't received these in yet. And these, it's really exciting, have the first buds on them. So that's gonna be pretty exciting. And yes, we have the bad bugs. I actually just went through and cut and cropped a bunch of the eggs off and some of the bugs off to do some of the maintenance on that. But we have both the cucumber beetle and the potato bugs, so that's fun. First time trying asparagus, and yes, this is really, really small, but we wanted to start it. Eventually we want to get the large or tall round raised bed, but let's see if it can focus. It's actually growing okay. I need to weed this bed, but there's actually some asparagus. So, and some of it's already flowering, which is kind of great. The dill I need to dry. It's already going to seed. So I'll collect some seeds and plant some more. I have actually planted some dill in multiple places around the property. Things like down over that bank and different places along with the wildflowers. So hoping it'll self-seed itself and continue to grow. The summer squash experiment, the flavor's really good on this pot, but it's way too small. So if I do this again next year, I will probably do one of the large grow bags per plant. So the summer squash we're getting and we're eating are these little tiny things. But the flavor's fantastic, so I can't really complain that much for having summer squash about a month and a half early. Let's see, the flowers, zinnias are doing really well. Cosmos and nasturtium. And I did put onions in here that from my onion starts that I did. Peas. We have our first flowers, which I'm excited about. There's another flower over there. So there's 3 types of peas here. Again, experimenting. Because we didn't have the bed set up yet, I went through and tried to do some pots and some grow bags on things that I've never done before. So that was kind of fun. These are some beets. I think there's 3 or 4 different types of beets in here. These are, let's see, some more peppers. We've got anchos and I think it's like a trident ancho or poblano, and guajillos there as well. Some more flowers. It's great because these flowers weren't here yesterday, so it's kind of fantastic. I just harvested lettuce from this bag, so it's looking a little skimpy. But I'm realizing people don't know this, but if you cut from the outside of the leaves, you can continue to harvest until it bolts. So I've been harvesting here quite a bit, as you can see, on all these little plants. So they may look little, but I'll wait another 3 or 4 days and then I'll take them out of leaves again, and just keep cycling through as long as it will let me. Carrots, we're running pretty low. I'm loving them. This bag is shooting right up, so need to water everything tonight. We were gone last night, but they're starting to root, so that's good. This row, or this bag, is the smaller stubby carrot. The rabbits have been in here. Let me pull this up. So they're really, really short. That seems to be the size that they're getting. They don't seem to be getting any bigger. Decent flavor, but I do like the Nepali better. So I'm trying a bunch of different things. These are some of the pickling cucumbers that I tried growing it really early in the greenhouse in a grow bag. They were supposed to be not in the grow bag for that long, but I was starting them early to then put into the long bed that's going to have the cattle panel. And what happened is we got behind on our schedule, and so instead of just letting them grow, we'll feed them probably this week some fertilizer, try to help keep the nutrients coming out of that small little bag. I'm picking off some bugs on it as well, but we did eat the first cucumber this morning, and then I picked 2 more tonight, and made some fresh pickles. So I'll also add that video, or actually I think I put that up on my Instagram. But these are about full size, so this one and a couple others we'll probably be picking in the next day or so. These are more summer squash. The other summer squash, I'm not sure if I said, were butterbelly. These ones are also small, amazing flavor, and we will be having, looks like, some more summer squash this week. And then these are, I believe these are the mustard greens. I forgot to label the bag that I've started. And we're actually going to try to let it go to seed to collect the mustard, so I can make fresh mustard from the seeds that we're growing. This rock pile needs to go, but you know, we'll get to that now that we have the big tractor. Something that I thought was interesting is I did a bunch of research about borage, and I'll show you a more mature one over here. And I was all excited because it deters the tomato hornworm from laying their eggs by your tomatoes. So I was all excited to plant these, and I put these all around my tomato beds. And first of all, they attract a lot of other insects. So they've been getting eaten really badly. That's another one over there. Another one over there. But it turns out that they're kind of prickly, and I don't really want to weed around a prickly bush within my my garden. So I am actually taking them out. I might try to pot some up, but at least I have these up here on the rock that hopefully will cover some of this area. But I'm going to remove these. I've removed them from a couple of the beds already. The tomatoes are doing pretty good. These last 2 were much smaller when I planted them. One of them I broke, and the other one I took out, got healthy again. I don't know what was going on with it, but it was not happy when I planted it in here for the first time. It's doing great now. These 2 should be cherries. Empty Magic, I believe is what it's called. These tomatoes are beefsteak. Really, really gorgeous tomatoes. And I have the video up on this, but they are on the Johnny Seeds spools for the lower and lean method. So they're doing pretty good. I need to tie up this one is an extra in the middle here. So I need to tie up this string still. I just have it kind of loosely hung right now, and I need to prune him. Bok choy, it's our first time growing it. It's getting eaten a little bit, and it's a cold weather crop, so the heat that we had, I wasn't sure if it would actually do anything, but it seems to be doing all right. I need to actually look up if you have to wait for it to actually be fully mature, or I think you can probably eat it like a baby green, so I might start adding it to salads. Here's some more beets that I planted in here. I'll have to be thinning these out. I was a little heavy-handed. And then carrots are these guys here. It's a marigold and some weeds. But I sprinkled carrots here. These are the short and stout carrots. I can't remember the official name. But because they add nitrogen, they're supposedly a great companion plant for tomatoes. And then alyssum back there, I did buy that. I didn't start it from seed. But it's actually doing really well there and a few different places. I planted some from seed that I'll add in soon. My lettuce starts that I transplanted into this bed are doing really well. There's a romaine. It's really good. I need to look up the variety. I highly recommend it though. Its shelf life is really good. My mom and I were talking about it today because I keep on giving her some when we see them. And I gave her some of the starts also. But fantastic. This is the spicy or Mexican oregano. We use that in the kitchen a lot, so we're trying to grow it for the first time. So that's interesting. These tomatoes here are all, in this bed, are all Cherokee carbons. That's kind of fun. Because they're an heirloom, probably need to snip these off. These were doubles that didn't actually go as planned. Here's another one here. You can kind of see the seam of double blossoms. This variety seems to have quite a lot of doubles, which is interesting. I guess it's a known thing for heirlooms. But we actually have quite a bit of tomatoes already on here, which I'm excited about. I did prune these a while ago. They're doing pretty well, pruned. So focusing the growth upwards and on the fruit sets and the main stem. I'm not allowing suckers, so I need to come back in here and take some of these. The thing with lower and lean that an idea that I liked that I saw on a YouTube video, and I apologize, I can't remember which video it was, otherwise I'd give him some credit. But one of the guys said that it's best to not take off the top sucker until you have the top extra one or two suckers until you have actually attached it up above it. So the suckers that are like here, I've left on until I clip it up here, so that if I do break this for some reason, I have a backup stem and I don't have to wait for something up here to hopefully, if I didn't break it up all the way, to grow and stunt the growth. So I like that advice. I was gonna try to stick to that this year. So again, there's beefsteak, heirlooms, and 2 MT Magic. Then there's Cherokee carbons here. And these are Cherokee carbons also. Just look at the fruit on these tomatoes. It's just so exciting. These are heavy tomatoes, so we are going to be testing our PVC pretty quickly, I think, looking at the amount of fruit we already have. Nasturtium is doing really well, and we did do the white daikon radish, which are these. We have had, it looks like the bunny has been in here. But it was actually funny because the same day, morning that this had been chopped, these had been bitten, and then they never came back. So I'm wondering if the nasturtium did actually kind of warn them off not to do it. We did plant the onions all the way around. We've got basil throughout most of these beds. So we've got different things that are hopefully deterring some of the organic pests, or regular pests, I should say, both four-legged and bugged. So these are big beef tomatoes here. Let's see, I need to prune some of these. They got burned again from the sun. It's been really brutal weather. Kind of funny. But over here, these are what's left for me to plant out of all of the stuff I started from seed. There's probably, actually, I think there's only this 1 6-pack of peppers that I didn't start from seed that's on this table, which is pretty fun there. But these 2 beds of tomatoes are a kind of a whatever was left for tomatoes. So most of them are going to be big beef, but I think these are some of the cherry tomatoes. I didn't have them, some of them labeled. I lost the labels, but looking at the way these are built, I'm thinking these 3 are cherries. There could be a Cherokee Carbon in here. There could even be a Roma in here from what I started from seed. So that's that bed and this bed. This was the first bed I planted, so it is the most mature as far as things starting and how they're looking. You'll notice some holes. Those are where I took the borage out. So I need to get this lettuce. These are all my lettuce starts that I was supposed to be planting this weekend that I did not get in. And spacing them out, so I need to do that. I've got serranos left, Thai chilies, jalapenos, pepperoncinis. There's actually some pepperoncinis already on here that I missed when I was doing pruning. And ancho poblanos here that I missed, that are just gonna keep going. So those are the main things that I have left to plant, besides some of the seed starts. You know, kind of messy around here lately. Neighbor returned a bunch of pots and gave me more for next year. So all of these will get bleached and washed really good and put away for the summer. So we've got that. These are the ones that I have as extras still. Posted them for sale. Been selling some of them actually, but I will find a space or do a grow bag if I end up with them too late. The garlic scapes I picked this week, which is amazing. Pretty excited about that. And the garlic is, part of it's up to my waist, so it is not too small. I do have a couple strawberries. These are just the small ones, so Jay has been eating those throughout. We've got 2 fatales in a 7-pot primo over here that we need to plant still. They'll probably go in pots, I think, at this point, or bags. Here's my early spring garden. I've been picking actually quite a bit, even yesterday. The collards is attracting some cabbage worms, so I need to pull that out. Unfortunately, we never really did anything with it. We did eat it when it was young. I did pull out the spinach that was bolting, and some of the kale at the end here, and these are just a bush bean. I thought that'd be good to have some bush beans in here started, because we're going to have the pole beans outside in one of the beds with the cattle panel. These are the cucumbers that are all started. I just did a plain tray, put it with dirt, and put some seeds in there. So there's, I think, 4 different types of cucumbers. Almost all of them are pickling. When you do pickling cucumbers, they're still good for good eating, and Jay still likes them like that. And And he loves pickles. So we said, why waste the space on the large ones for this year? So we'll see how this goes. But these will probably get planted hopefully in the next 2 weeks, out into the tall, long beds that Jay's putting together. These are pole beans. So same thing. These will go with the cucumbers on the opposite sides, and we'll climb up the cattle panels in the long beds. Let's see. Over here, we've got the 2 tomatoes that we actually planted in the greenhouse. And I might actually show it from a different angle here. So the plan for these are, we're going to fix the strings, but we're going to have them grow up over the supports, and then we're going to actually have each of them kind of grow down. They're indeterminate, so they'll continue to grow in here, and they'll grow a lot longer than the ones outside. And we can't really do lower and lean because we don't have anywhere to put them besides just like wrapping them around each other, which doesn't make much sense. So we're just going to let them grow up and over all of the pepper plants. So that should be pretty interesting if we can get that to work. We have, this is the big beef here. So I could probably prune that a little bit more, some of the lower stuff there. There's a sucker down at the bottom I missed. And this is a Cherokee Carbon. It's starting to blossom here. We have Thai basil and regular basil. We're trying Thai for the first time, so it's kind of exciting. The seed germination on those was not as good as I would have liked, but we'll see how that goes. We tried a Thai basil fried rice at a Chinese restaurant locally, so that's kind of fun. All right, so hot peppers. Here we have 2 death spirals, a 7-pot Jonah, 2 reapers, there and there, the vermicompost, which is the worm compost bin, which is actually getting down there pretty close to being ready to filter out. But I will say the worm population in this bed has been amazing since we did that. We've got 2 ghosts back there. One of them's really, really small right there. We've got the 7-pot Primo here. And Sugar Rush here. Another Sugar Rush we got from a local guy in a pepper plant trade, which is fun. Lava. And then 3 Primatalis there and another lava. And that's a Thai basil in between there. So that's this side. This is a crazy hot side. And it's the one that's facing west. In bags, we have peach scotch bonnets. Let's see. Oh, Burmese birds. Guajillo, which has got a pretty big pepper on it already that I'd missed. Jalapenos. Yellow ties. I think this is a super chili. Another super chili. Guajillos, habaneros, peach scotch bonnets, a red tie, yellow tie, serranos, pepperoncinis. Let's see right here. There's a pepperoncini. And more ties. So this is still going to get removed out. Then this bed are still hot peppers, but they're not as hot in theory as the ones behind me. So 2 red ties, 2 yellow ties, 2 Burmese birds, 2 peach scotch bonnets here and here. Here and here. This one is a red ghost we got from Honeyfields up in Vermont. Peri Peri here and here that we grew from seed. This one I believe is the Tabasco that we got from Pepper Trade from a local guy that was kind of fun to do. Habanero oranges, these 3 I need to prune them really badly. Super chili, cayenne, and an Anaheim. So that's what the pepper situation is currently in here. we're talking about putting like a shelf on the back there so all of those get raised up a little bit. But this is south. Though there's some tree blocking in the back here, it does actually get a lot of sun, and we do have the 40% shade cloth on in here. So that is the update for the greenhouse. So I'm out here in the field garden, and we've got Roma tomatoes, tomatillos. Romas are doing all right. They're definitely getting a little splash. We need to get the mulch to put down here, which will help with some of that splash. We've had some really heavy rains, and then nothing. You'll see here, sort of, there's 2 rows of sunflowers here. Those are summer squash. And I've got, let's see here. These are my baby Pam pumpkins. They're baking pumpkins. They're the best flavor. And then I've got little baby watermelons over here as well. So we are having a slight issue with some of our favorite friends, the deer. This bed that they kind of walked through, that's all sunflowers there, all different kinds. And then I have sunflowers, let's see, got sunflowers here, and these are also sunflowers. So I'm hoping those make it. But we need to start putting up, we're going to try, I think, the string with the bell method versus a big fence. We've got so many other projects going on. This is all bonus. If it gets eaten, it gets eaten, and it's kind of a bummer, but not the end of the world. Our corn is doing really well. Jay did clean up one of the aisles this past week, and I weeded that last row today. I weeded this last row, I think midweek or end of the week. So we've got some more work to do. But you'll see here, these are bloody butcher corn. It's a dent corn or field corn, and the deer seem to really like it. I've even planted onions to try to get them to try that first, but they ate the tops off of about 7 or 8 of the corn, which is a bummer. So it happens. We'll see how it continues. The next row in is the one that we planted the latest. And then these are the next 4 rows. They're all sweet corn. So there is an issue potential with having them close together and cross-pollination between the dent corn and the sweet corn. But we're kind of taking that risk and experimenting to see how it goes for us. The really tall corn is already well above my knee, which is crazy. And New England saying is knee high by the 4th of July. But that's the stuff that I started in the greenhouse actually and transplanted here. When we transplanted it, that's when we seeded the rest of these rows, actually these rows. And then we waited another 2 weeks and planted this row. So these over here, if I get this right, this whole row is Silver Queen. This is, I believe, Delectable. And then there's half sugar buns and half something else, which I can't remember. And then this whole row here, the youngest corn, is sugar buns. So that's gonna be tasty. I think we'll get some ears no matter what. But we'll see how the animals and the deer go. The tomatillos are getting kind of destroyed also. They got tasted by the deer, which isn't always fun. But they are also having the cucumber beetles all over them, which is normal. Actually, usually doesn't even impact the fruit. So I'd rather them here and collect all here versus on the squash. And they seem to really like it. So we're kind of just letting them be a little bit. Though I will pick off the eggs when I see them. And actually I can show you what the eggs look like. So if you have them, let's see if I can get this to focus. There, that's what the little eggs look like. They're kind of goldish orange. These are the bugs over here. Let's see. There's one right there. It's probably a good shot of it. So you can see there's a couple different types of bugs that will be attracted here. The other thing kind of looks like miniature bird poop, like little tiny, look about that same size, but globs of sluggy grossness. That's, I think, one of their stages. So pick that off too if you see it. They usually lay eggs on the underneath of the leaves, and then when they hatch, they eat through the leaf that they've been on, and they multiply very quickly. So it's definitely on my list this week. I do think on the Romas, I thought I planted 12 Romas. I believe this one might be beefsteak, looking at the tomato and the size of the plant compared to the others, and just the shape of how it's going. So my bad there. So I might have to get one of the other cages and put that over there. These are the heavy duty cages. They're the upside down ones. I don't love cages. They usually fall apart, but supposedly these should last and actually take on more weight. With the tomatillos, they don't get very, very tall, even though they'll continue to fruit. Whereas these extras, beefsteak and big beef that we had, they'll just continue to grow. So we're just going to let them go wild out here. Since I have 57 tomatoes planted total, it's a little crazy. Trying to make it so it's actually manageable amount of work. So the pruning is not going to happen on the tomatoes in this bed. Maybe a little bit down by the dirt so that the dirt splash won't cause issues. But being mostly Romas over here and corn and tomatillos and squash, I'll train the squash, the pumpkins and watermelon, so that they don't come this way. I'll train them to go out and around each other. Maybe prune them down a little bit. But for the most part, this should be a pretty low maintenance garden. So that's the plan. Right now, again, the garden's a living, breathing thing, so we'll see how it goes. But we also need to hill this corn a little bit. You'll see I have some onions again on the ends also. Just trying to make it so that the rabbits wouldn't actually bother the corn either. But it's doing pretty good. So that's the main garden update. I need to cut that maple stump back again. But we're making good progress. Jay just finished assembling that last 8-in-1 bed. So I gotta help him install that. Gotta close the greenhouse tonight, and we gotta water in the greenhouse and some of the pots tonight. It's supposed to be on and off rain tomorrow and high 65, so I'm not gonna water the field corn or anything down here, and I'm probably not gonna water a lot of things up in the raised beds. Did the soil check, put my finger in it, and it was fine. So that's where we are.